been trying to record this for 10 minutes. Anyway, so I'll start while he's scratching his back. I'm sorry that we're so close here. This is my husband, John. Okay, so what's moving it? Is it the dog?
I don't know.
Yeah,
You're kicking it.
we don't ever have anything together, as you well know by now. So this is kind of our love story. John and I were kindergarten sweethearts in good old 1986, 87 school year, right?
I think. I don't know. I'm too old to remember that.
So, anyway, we were kindergarten sweethearts. So we've known each other for a very long time. He was the first boy I ever kissed. I'm just going to show you some pictures of us in kindergarten. Now, you guys know I'm tall, but this will show you exactly how tall I was. John was a normal height in kindergarten. So here is us at our first date. It was Valentine's Day, 1987. I was ginormous, okay? And I was one of the youngest kids in the class. Here he is putting my corsage on me. Now this was at one of the older schools in our town. Oh, here's our first kiss. Which is still a school here in St. Springs. My grandmother went to that school. And I just said where we lived, but that's okay. Anyway, so we have a lot of history. John and I both graduated from the same high school. Our parents graduated all around the same years. So we have a long history. So growing up, John ended up a year behind me in school. So we went to different, this isn't going to work. These guys are going to throw up from all the jiggling. Okay, so, sorry, the Yorkie keeps bonking it. So, anyway, John graduated a year behind me in school, and he worked at a grocery store, and anytime I would see him, I would avoid him. I don't know why. I'm not embarrassed. I'm not shy. So fast forward, I am working at a tag agency in our town, and he came in with a friend, and I asked her if that was John, and she said yes, and I was like, oh, well, he was my kindergarten boyfriend, and him and I saw each other, and it was one of those, I didn't talk, he didn't talk, he blushed, I blushed. It was really goofy, and keep in mind, we're in our mid to late 20s. What did you think when you saw me at the tag office?
Oh, I just had butterflies.
You have butterflies?
Mm-hmm.
So, anyway, fast forward about another year, he comes in and he tags his Monte Carlo. And we were geeking. I mean, we were geeking hard. My ears were purple, and I don't blush. I was raised in a car club. I was raised around men my whole life. I don't blush. And when he left, my boss asked me who he was. And I told her because I was cheesing so hard. It was ridiculous. So we ended up friending each other on Facebook, and I liked a couple of his pictures that were totally dorky, but I thought, oh my gosh, he is so cute nowadays. So, I knew he was a mechanic, and I was driving a Cadillac that was a piece of junk. Keep in mind, it is August in Oklahoma. I have no air in the car, and one of the windows wouldn't roll down. It was awful. My kid and I, we were dying in this car. So I messaged him, and I was like, I can't pay a lot of money, but I'll pay you $20 to just come look at my car, tell me what it's going to cost, and can you fix it, and I will pay you. You know, I don't expect anything for free. So he said, I'll be there at 6 o'clock Sunday. Well, due to many disappointments in my life, I did not expect him to show up at 6 o'clock on Sunday. I only had enough clothes to do one full load of laundry. My laundry was all in the washer. I was wearing a dirty white tank top and cut off sweatpants, and I was cleaning my house. And he shows up, and it was just like in the movies when the girl's silently screaming behind the door and she's running around and yelling, "Just a minute." That is exactly how this was going down. He was outside my door. I didn't know what to do. So I finally opened the door, and we go over and we look at the car, and you know, he looked at it for, how long do you think you even looked at it?
Maybe 5 minutes.
5-10 minutes at the absolute most. So he decides, he sits on the rock wall on this house that I owned. It was built in the 40s. It was a beautiful sandstone house. And I sit down in a folding chair and we just talk. It is 9,000 degrees outside. It's mid-August in Oklahoma. And we could see my daughter, and he didn't want to be inappropriate. I was a single mom. And so he stayed outside my house, and, you know, we could see her, and she was playing right inside the door, and she'd come out, and, you know, I told her who he was, and she had actually seen pictures of him, because my mom took pictures of everything, so, I had a kindergarten scrapbook. Well, so, anyway, she comes in and out, and as she's walking back in, she looks at him and goes, "I'm watching you." She's what, like 6?
Yeah, something like
6 or so? 6, about 7? And I just about died. And he didn't know. He was just kind of laughing and smiling. But anyway, he wound up staying at my house outside till 11 o'clock that night. And we talked quite a bit. So he texted me that Tuesday. We're about to have some company. This is our other child. She looks just like her father. Takes after him. Same brown
Yeah,
eyes.
Roxy.
So he texts me Tuesday. That Tuesday is August, and tells me what it's going to take to fix it. And it turned into him asking me on a date. And I said, a real date or a friend date? And he said, I want to go on a real date. And I'm like, okay. I'm like, you know, we have to sneak around because my mom was raised here. His parents live here. My grandparents live here, both sides. All my aunts and uncles, my sister, we all live in the same town. We've all been raised here. And then now the town is up to like 20,000 people. So it's, you know, 8 degrees of Kevin Bacon, however that goes. Him and I will know nearly everyone in this town. So we go to West Tulsa, away from town. And we eat at a barbecue joint. And we walk in, and I kid you not, there is a family that I have grown up with my whole entire life. And I'm like, hey, you know. So him and I are really trying to keep this on the down low. I mean, we're kindergarten sweethearts. It's just, you know, town talks. And if it wasn't going to work out, I didn't even want anybody to know we went on a date. Because, you know, it's just going to be this huge thing. So we're about to sit down, and I hear my name. And there's my cousin, who I have not seen in forever, is the head chef there. And I'm like, okay, well, this is over with. We might as well just announce, you know, over the PA system that we're on a date. And we wound up seeing a couple of more people that we knew. And I was just like, forget it at this point. So our date consists of mostly, just staring at each other and giggling.
Grins,
yeah. Yeah, it was so goofy. I mean, now we're in our 30s. And we're acting like 10-year-olds, you know. So, oh, and by the way, my husband doesn't talk much. So, you know. So anyway, we wound up sharing a bowl of strawberry cobbler. My cousin brought out, he had made strawberry cobbler, and he only brought out one bowl for us to share. And we had like a little baby spoon war. It was just so goofy. Well, we wound up missing the movie that we were going to go see. And since I knew him and I trusted him, he said, why don't we just rent movies and come back to my house? And I said, okay, you know, I trust you. And we rented Texas Chainsaw Massacre and some other awful movie. We can't even remember the name of it, but it was terrible movie. And we both conked out on the couch. Now keep in mind, he was a bachelor and kept his house at like nearly 80 degrees. It's August, the end of August. And I have sweat dripping down me so bad. My shirt's clinging to me. And he's got his arm around me. And he kissed me very nicely. Wasn't anything out of line. And sweat dripped in my eyeball when he kissed me. It was so sexy, so romantic. So anyway, fast forward several years, because this is getting kind of long. My grandparents took my family, 16 of us, to Disney. And I had a feeling he was going to propose while we were there. He had never flown, and so he was a little nervous that day. We were leaving at 4 o'clock in the morning, and there was a horrible storm in our area. And so he's nervous anyway, because we're flying for the first time. We're going on this big trip. He's never been out of the country. I mean, he's just having a whirlwind of experiences in 10 days. And so we get to the airport and we get on the flight, and the flight is so bad, they won't even let you get up to go to the bathroom. I mean, the turbulence was so bad, I got sick. I actually physically threw up. And like my daughter's ears were popping. And at one time, we went down so hard that I physically came out of the seat. They weren't even letting the stewardess walk, or I guess that's what you call them nowadays, your air assistants. They weren't even letting them out of their seatbelts. So we finally make it to St. Louis. We fly out in another storm. And we finally get to Florida. Now I've puked everywhere. We have kind of jet lag. We're exhausted. First big trip together, and I'm barfing and he's terrified. It's amazing. So anyway, we go on this amazing Disney cruise. We have the best time. We did 5 days Disney cruise and 5 days at Walt Disney World. And we went to the candlelight processional. This is a huge deal every December at Disney, where someone famous comes and they read the Christmas story, and they have the most beautiful orchestra and choir, and it's fantastic. You need to go. So anyway, my grandma, grandpa, my uncle, my cousin and her husband, and John and I, we were all supposed to go to the processional together. Well, my grandparents by now, we've been on this really long trip. We're what, 7, 8 days in?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, and they're exhausted. I mean, Disney's hard on a healthy person, let alone a Disney cruise, and then now I think 3 at Disney World, and they all leave. They all leave us. I am sicker than a dog. Like, I have some horrible lung issue. I am so sick, but I had a feeling he was gonna propose, so I stuck it out. Stuck it through the candlelight processional. I was so sick, I had to get a wheelchair. Like, I couldn't even make it. And we get back to Animal Kingdom where we're staying, and I have to step off in the grass and throw up. I mean, I am sick. So we get in our room, and I'm taking a shower, and I'm so just at the end of my rope. I'm sitting on this side of the side of the shower, and I look back, and he's standing at the door Like this. Yeah, like in that face. He keeps smiling at me. Okay, I'm sitting on the side of the tub, puking in a trash can, trying to take a shower. It is so sexy, let me tell you. So finally, I get out of the shower and I'm so weak and tired at this point. I can't put my pants on. I physically cannot get my pants on. So I have on a pajama shirt and my underwear, and I walk out and I sit on the bed, and he is cheesing from ear to ear. I mean, like, geek cheesing. And I'm like, what? He's like, look at your phone. And I'm like, help me get my pants on. He's like, look at your phone. And I look at my phone, and it said my name on this little placard that we had put on my little scooter. And it had a picture emoji of a engagement ring. And he said, how about we make it permanent, the last name. And I look over at him, and he gets down on his knee, and he proposes with my daughter. So it was just the three of us. And there's a picture of me sitting on the bed in my pajama shirt, my underwear. He forgot the ring, so he borrowed a ring out of my jewelry bag. And he asked me to marry him. And that was December
19th.
Yeah, December 19th of 2015. So there's two pictures of him proposing, and I'm leaned over both times, and there's one where I look like I'm about to barf, and it's because I am, but there's nothing left in me to throw up. So it was perfect. The next day I stayed in the room and watched the giraffes outside my window while they went and had fun. So my first day of being engaged, I'm running a massive fever and I'm violently ill. But it happens, right? So fast forward to our wedding. Sorry, this keeps getting longer and longer. We were going to have this little, small, cheap wedding that turned into 125 plus guests. And it was amazing. It was beautiful. Was it beautiful?
It was very beautiful.
I have never felt that beautiful in my entire life. Here's some pictures of me beforehand. Then our rings. My dress was absolutely perfect. There aren't words for my dress, to me anyway. So at our wedding, instead of doing a candle, we did a cross, and you put it together with 3 pegs, and it represents the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit to hold your marriage together. The outside of the cross represented the male, and the inside represented the female. And so here we are doing that. And you guys, the day was beautiful. We had a sunset wedding. It was perfect. We had a breeze. I had a really long veil, and at one point it did blow over and hit people in their face. So, of course, here is us praying. I'm covering the minister's face because I didn't ask for permission to put him in, but he is very active in our life, and he is an amazing person. And then here's my favorite photo of our wedding. But anyway, our wedding was great. We served home style food, and in our first date in 1987, we had Kentucky Fried Chicken chicken legs and chocolate chip cookies and mashed potatoes at our wedding as just like a little thing. We had Kentucky Fried Chicken chicken legs, mashed potatoes, and chocolate chip cookies. Now, we had other food too. Matter of fact, our caterer was amazing. He was my mom's neighbor, And he's a professional chef at a large hospital, and wow. But anyway, so that's our love story. It's been hard and it's been easy. We were old when we got married. We were 33 when we got married for the first time, and I was incredibly independent. So we've only ever, in 5 years, we've had one big blowout. And that's when you make the decision. Do you work it out and respect each other enough to get through it? And we have, and we did, and I love him like crazy. So he is an excellent father to my child. I couldn't ask for a better dad. You have anything to say with your sour looking face over there?
She's the most awesome woman you can ask for.
Why is that?
Just are.
Mm-hmm. He's a man of very few words. He's about as romantic as a dead housefly, gonna be honest. But, you know, he puts tires on my car. He changes my oil. That's his version of romance. It's nice. It's nice not to have to put tires on my car. He does it all. So, anything else you want to say, Mr. No Words?
No. Not really.
I'm so proud of him. He's actually said like 13 things or so. He doesn't talk. Trust me. When this camera turns off, he'll have 90,000 things to say. And, you know, but because he knows strangers are going to be watching this, he's not talking. Look at him. See? But anyway, so we have 3 dogs together. We do not have children together. I highly doubt we will have a child together. This is what I live with. He's my man-child. So we have 3 dogs together, and then we have my 12-year-old. So, anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. If you have any more questions, just ask below. Just keep fighting, and just always remember that, you know, there's so many women and men out there that aren't married, and they keep questioning when it's their turn. I got my first turn when I was in my 30s, you know? God kept putting it on my heart that he's not ready, but he's near you. And he was 3 blocks away, living from me 3 blocks away. And I had to stop and listen to that the person who I was supposed to be with was near, but they weren't ready, even though I was ready. And so don't give up on love. You know, and I honestly feel some people just aren't meant to be married, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. Just be a good person and show love. And if you're married, respect each other. Marriage is not 50-50. It's 100-100. Sometimes I need help off the floor. Sometimes he needs help off the floor. And that's just the way it is. He's not abusive or anything like that. That'd be a different story. But, you know, you just have to pick and choose on how hard do you love someone to get past a disappointment, and how hard do you love someone to not disappoint them. And I think that that's why our marriage works, is because when we have a problem, we're trying to hit them together. We're holding the same hammer, hitting the same nail. And that's just the way marriage needs to be. And it needs to be very God-centered and very focused. So, anyway, I hope you all have a blessed and wonderful day. Hopefully we'll have a better setup eventually. And I will post my tools video. I love my weight loss tools. That's how I continue to lose weight, is I utilize things. So anyway, have a great day. Happy Sunday. Bye.
Bye.